The Sandy Creek project is a Queensland government-funded project aiming to better understand losses of pesticides and nutrients from cane farms. Sandy Creek is located in the plain catchment of the Mackay-Whitsunday region and has been identified as a high priority area to address these losses. The project first began in 2015, and since 2018 there has been an increased focus on the Brightly subcatchment within the Sandy Creek region because of its small number of growers and isolated catchment area. The project is jointly delivered by Mackay Area Productivity Services, MAPS, Pharmacist and Reef Catchments.
It all started with a meeting with the chief scientists. We wanted to know what we're doing now, like our current farming practices, how are they affecting the water quality, and if there was ways that we could improve more, or were we sort of at the limit? That's what we sort of wanted to find out.
Brightly growers have been working with productivity officers from MAPS and agronomists from Pharmacist to better manage their farm and improve the water quality in Sandy Creek.
First thing we do is we go and do a boom spray assessment. So some of the nozzles are sort of worn out or they're inappropriate, or one of the things that's happened is the growers have changed their cane row spacing and haven't changed the nozzle spacing on their boom, so they actually get overlap or underlap. And so with the project, there was our support to turn up and do the assessments with the grower and show them where the opportunities for improvement were. And then also there was some funding in the project to help pay for those upgrades. That's what we do. We work right across the spectrum, their equipment, the products they're using, and then we actually develop a pesticide management plan with them, which takes into account soil types, the weeds they have on their farm, if they've got pest problems like cane grubs and that sort of thing.
A significant part of the project is the water quality monitoring campaign that we're doing. That we have an automatic water sampler. This automatic water sampler, it is actually programmed to take samples at specific river levels of Sandy Creek throughout the rise and the fall of a flood. And this makes it really beneficial to us because we can then have a much more detailed idea of the dynamics of pollutants, such as pesticides and nutrients, potentially flowing off people's paddocks during these flood times. We have a bunch of amazing landholders that are willing to give up a little bit of time throughout their day. With the landholders collecting their own samples, it helps us build a bit of a bigger picture of what the water quality is doing throughout the Brightly subcatchment.
So MAPS has been involved since 2017 with the Sandy Creek project. Yep. And we currently have 20 growers we're working one-on-one with. By being able to work one-on-one with growers, you gain their trust, and then you can break down those barriers. You're able to come up with solutions to meet their needs. It's a really important part of practice change. It helps growers become part of the solution rather than seeing themselves as part of the problem. So Frank, when you first engaged, what was your concern? What did you want to fix? What was your problems?
It wasn't a problem as such, but it was just a better control of our spraying equipment.
So now you can turn sprays off as you want, as you move down the row.
Yeah.
On these angle rows, you can cut it off.
Yeah, you shot at the end of the paddock, which doesn't kill the grass on your headland. And by keeping the grass on your headland, if you do get a bit of a downpour, it catches most of it before it actually ends up in the creek. And it's actually better for everything. Stop erosion, stops the chemicals and stops the nutrients.
So if we can reduce the amount of chemicals growers are using, that's inadvertently going to reduce the amount of chemical that can potentially run into the waterways.
It's good. The information we've got out of the project's been good. Like we've sort of, like I said, been able to track chemicals, through the different years, and then monitor any changes and sort of link them back to a farming practice. And it's good to see we've seen a reduction in some of the chemicals.
Some of the Sandy Creek projects that have been done, they have been working on a small catchment, and that's been great because then you're not working one-on-one, but you're working with the community, and growers can be working with their neighbours, which is really good because it's amazing how much you can learn by what your neighbour's doing. It might not suit you on your farm, but you can learn something from it.
The water quality results from projects such as Sandy Creek are important for informing management decisions, not only on farm, but also for sensitive coastal communities and the Great Barrier Reef.
Probably one of the biggest benefits of having a project like the Sandy Creek project is the educational value of it, and it extends beyond that Sandy Creek catchment. Like we've been talking to Frank today, and one of his farms falls in the catchment, but he's going to take those practices to all of his other farms that fall outside of the catchment. So it's a win-win.
Talking to growers about what's happened in the Brightly catchment with the Sandy Creek project really does highlight to quite a few of them that if we do some small changes ourselves on each farm, that maybe we can do a small change to the bigger picture and overall make a big difference.
To find out more about the Sandy Creek project and other similar projects, contact Reef Catchments